Hello guys, this is lecture number 14 in the lesson series of group theory, and in this video I am going to discuss about Lagrange theorem. This theorem says that if G is any finite group and H be any subgroup of G, then order of H divides order of G. That means order of every subgroup divides the order of group whenever G, that is group, is a finite group. So now we are going to prove this theorem. We will prove this theorem in 3 steps. In first step, we will see the formation of coset. That is, we will see how a coset forms. Formation of cosets. In second step, that is in step 2, we will see some properties of coset. Properties of cosets. And step number 3, that is in last step, we will see our main proof of this theorem. So this will be our pathway to prove this theorem. So first we are doing our step number 1. Here we have to form a coset. So for this, let G be any finite group and H be any subgroup of G. We define here a relation. We define a relation denoted by this symbol on the group G such that A is related to B if and only if A B inverse belongs to the subgroup H for all A B from the group G. So this is a relation on the group G such that A is related to B whenever A B inverse belongs to H, that is subgroup. Now we are going to prove that this relation is an equivalence relation. So for this we have to first prove that it is reflexive, symmetric and transitive. Then we can say that this relation is an equivalence relation. So first, reflexive. For reflexive we have to prove that A is related to A itself for all elements A from the group G. So proof of this, here we know that A inverse is equal to the identity element E, where E is the identity element from the group G. E is the identity element of G, and we know that the identity element for the subgroup is same. So E belongs to H also, and this implies A inverse belongs to H. So for this definition, if A B inverse belongs to H, then we can say that A is related to B. So if A inverse belongs to H, then A is related to A, and this is true for all elements A from the group G. So we have proved that it is reflexive. Now we are going to prove that this relation is symmetric also. For symmetric, we have to prove that if A is related to B, then B is also related to A. So proof of this, let A is related to B. Then from this definition, A B inverse belongs to H, and we know that H is a subgroup, so inverse of this element, that is A B inverse also belong to H. And applying the reversal rule here, A B inverse of inverse is equal to B inverse, that is B inverse A inverse also belong to H, and B inverse is equal to B into A inverse belongs to H. And from this definition, B into A inverse belongs to H implies that B is related to A. So we have proved that if A is related to B, then B is also related to A. So our symmetric proof is complete. Now we are going to prove that it is transitive also. So for transitive we have to prove that if A is related to B and B is related to C, then A is also related to C. So proof of this, let A is related to B and B is related to C. This will imply from this definition A B inverse belongs to H and B C inverse belongs to H. And applying the closure property of subgroup H, A B inverse and into B C inverse also belongs to the subgroup H, and B inverse B is equal to the identity element E from the subgroup H into C inverse, and A into identity element is A into C inverse belongs to H. And from this definition, here we can imply that A is related to C. So we have proved that if A is related to B and B is related to C, then A is also related to C. So our transitive proof is complete. So we have proved that this relation is reflexive, symmetric and transitive. So hence this relation is an equivalence relation. Is an equivalence relation on group G. So then the fundamental theorem on equivalence relation, we can imply that this relation partitions the group G in terms of equivalence classes. In terms of equivalence classes. This is called the fundamental theorem of equivalence relation. Fundamental theorem on equivalence relation. Now, what is the equivalence classes and what is the partition? So first we will understand what is the equivalence classes. So for this, let A be any arbitrary element from the group G, and then the equivalence classes of this element is represented by CL, that is class of A, and it is equal to a set containing element X from the group G such that X is related to this element A, and this is clearly the subset of group G because we have taken the elements from group G. So this is a subset. It is equal to X belongs to G such that from the definition of the relation we have taken, it is equal to X A inverse belongs to the subgroup H, and this is equal to X belongs to G and such that X A inverse is equal to H for some H belongs to the capital H, where H belongs to capital H, and this will be equal to X belongs to G such that multiplying A right side from both sides, we get that X is equal to HA, where H belongs to capital H, and putting here value of X, that is HA, such that H belongs to capital H. So CL, that is equivalence class of A, will be equal to this set, that is HA, where H belongs to H, capital H, and this set will be equal to HA, and this is nothing but right coset of H in G. So right coset of H in G. So this is the definition of right coset of H in G. Right coset is nothing but equivalence class of the element A, and this set, that is AH, which is equal to A small h, where small h from the capital S, then this set is called the left coset of H in G. Left coset of subgroup H in group G. So these are the definitions of right coset and left cosets. Now we are going to see our step number 2, that is properties of coset. Properties of cosets, and we saw that cosets are nothing but equivalence classes. Equivalence classes. So we are going to see the properties of equivalence classes. The property number 1 is that any two equivalence classes are either disjoint or equal. That means if HA and HB are two cosets, then either HA intersection HB equal to phi, that means they are disjoint, or HA is equal to HB. So for any two cosets, either they are disjoint or they are equal. So this is the property number 1. The property number 2 says that G is equal to union of all cosets, that is here right coset, where A belongs to G. That is G is equal to union of all equivalence classes. So this is the property of partition also. That means in partition of G is equal to union of all the equivalence classes or union of all cosets, and all the cosets in this representation are disjoint. Some other notes or property of cosets are like that. We saw that from here every coset, that is equivalence classes, are subset of G, but not necessarily subgroup. So when a subset becomes a subgroup, a coset, say HA, that is right coset, becomes a subgroup of G if and only if A, that is this element, belongs to the right coset HA, and then HA will become equal to H. So in this condition, the right coset or left coset becomes a subgroup. And note number 4, HA is equal to HB if and only if A belongs to HB. So this is the necessary and sufficient condition for any two cosets to be equal. So these are the some properties of cosets or equivalence classes. So now we are going to prove our theorem, that is step number 3. From the property number 2, G is equal to union of all cosets, that is right coset here, and as G is a finite group, so let HA1, HA2, HA3 dot 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 HAK. Let these are the K distinct right coset. These are the K distinct right cosets of H in G. From this equation, G will be equal to HA1 union HA2 union HA3 union up to HAK. And as G is a finite group, so taking the cardinality from both sides, it will be equal to cardinality of G, that is order of G, equal to, as all the cosets are disjoint, because this is the representation of partition, so it can be written as summation of all the cardinality of cosets. So cardinality of G will be equal to cardinality of HA plus cardinality of HA2 plus cardinality of HA3 dot 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 cardinality of HAK. And there is some note here. Here the cardinality of any right coset, that is HA, is equal to cardinality of the subgroup H. We will prove this. So taking an example here, say H is equal to H1 H2. There exist two elements in this subgroup where H1 is not equal to H2. Then the right coset HA will be equal to H1A and H2A. So these are the two elements from the right coset HA. Now assume that H1A is equal to H2A. We know that H1A and H2A are the two elements from the group G, and applying the right cancellation law here, we get H1 is equal to H2. But we have assumed that H1 and H2 are distinct, so this is a contradiction. So H1A can't be equal to H2A. So these two elements from the right coset are distinct. This will imply that here the cardinality of H is 2, and also the cardinality of the right coset HA is also 2. So the cardinality of right coset HA and cardinality of the subgroup H are both equal. So we have proved that the cardinality of right coset and subgroup are equal. So this will imply that cardinality of G is equal to cardinality of H, cardinality of H plus cardinality of H. All the cardinalities are equal from the cardinality of H. So this will imply that order of G is equal to order of H plus order of H plus order of H. These are K times, and this will be equal to order of G is equal to K into order of the subgroup H. This will imply that K is equal to the order of G upon order of H. So from this expression we can easily say that order of H divides order of G, because K is a natural number. K is a natural number. So we have proved that order of subgroup divides order of group. So we have proved our theorem. Also we can say from this expression, that is K is equal to order of G upon order of H, that order of G upon order of H is equal to k, where k is the number of distinct right coset. So order of G upon order of H will be equal to number of distinct cosets of H in G. Here we have taken the coset only because the number of right coset and left coset are always equal. So order of G upon order of H will be equal to number of distinct coset of H in G. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching.